One, let's talk NFL schedule release. You love nothing more than an NFL scheduling release. You pounce. You are not representative of most bettors, you realize. But for those who are inclined to be like you, tell us what you did.
I attack week one. I love getting ahead of line moves. So I did make several wagers, including opening night.
And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Fezzik Fridays here on A Numbers Game.
Whether it's at the Sportsbook or anywhere else in the casino, he's always helping us find an edge. It's time for Fezzik Fridays.
What do you have to say for yourself, sir? Steve Fezzik, ladies and gentlemen, the only back-to-back winner of the Hilton Supercontest.
I got so much just from your intro here. So what does Gibby do for a living? Is he a professional sports participant? Because 4 weeks off for an Achilles, that's a good company he works for.
Oh, yeah.
Is he a delivery person for FedEx or something?
I did a whole 4-hour love zone, slow jams, with a freshly ruptured Achilles from the basketball court. And then I came right to work after my my other one and only took work off because I almost bit it from the pulmonary embolism. But other than that, if it's just the Achilles, I'm back in a
when
flash.
I blew my ACL the next day at Transamerica, I was coming in on crutches.
How'd you blow your ACL out?
Basketball.
Oh.
It's dangerous. By the way, I call him Alcatraz. This Musetti Alcatraz match, it's like 40% of the court is in shade. This has to be an enormous advantage for a savvy player as far as the spin of the ball. How are they playing at a time with this shade over maybe 1/3 of the court only?
Alcaraz just broken back. I said, what could go wrong? There you go. Come on, Carlitos. Leave us alone for a set, for God's sakes.
Hey, new restaurant recommendation.
Yes.
No one size fits all.
Yeah.
I have the best restaurant in Vegas.
Okay.
Herbs and Rye on
Herbs and
Sahara.
Rye.
And here's why.
Yeah.
My wife and I go there 11 p.m. weeknight. Can't get us in. Book solid. 11 o'clock at night.
11 p.m. My only issue with Urban Ryan, this is a way of saying how old I am without saying how old I am. Can we turn the lights up a little bit? I would like to see my steak when I'm eating it. Really? Does it have to be pitch black?
There's actually one restaurant that calls blackout dining. Sounds
I know.
horrendous.
That's on Valley View.
Yeah,
I believe.
let's avoid that.
Y'all ever done that? You eat in the dark. It's the weirdest thing ever. Okay. Thanks for coming here, Stevie. Appreciate it. There's a few things I want to talk to you about. One, let's talk NFL schedule release. You love nothing more than an NFL scheduling release. So we talked a little bit about this, about you with Crack yesterday, which is okay. You pounce. You are not representative of most bettors, you realize. But for those who are inclined to be like you, tell us what you did.
Yeah, so I attack week one. I don't typically play much at all in terms of season wins because let's face it, we already knew who everyone was going to play. So it's true the order matters and how many buys your opponents play and rest advantages, and Warren Sharp does tremendous work with that. But you got time typically on those, and you can just play them in games of the year later on and take advantage rather than playing the season wins. But week one, I love getting ahead of line moves. So I did make several wagers, including opening night. I'm on the Eagles -6.5, hosting Dallas. And
you really jumped on that one quick. Yep.
And then Friday, I just bet this morning. I got Kansas City right here at Circa, -126 on the money line. I know it's gone, $40 fine, but it was there an hour ago in Sao Paulo. And in what universe is Kansas City only going to be a -126 favorite, against the Chargers?
There was a fourth, right? Was it 4 of them or 3 games you played?
I also played San Fran. You can still get this -120 at Seattle, Tampa Bay -120 at Atlanta. And think about this. I love getting in front of, I get the better team, all right, close to pick 'em. And the idea is that 4 months later, right before the season is kicking off, everyone is going to be backing the better team. All they got to do is win. And it's going to put pressure on these spreads, and they're going to go from 1 to 2 to 2.5, and hopefully 3. But even if they don't go to 3, they go up to 2.5. I could always go ahead and play the long teaser and have a nice little middle working for me.
Okay, so you are open to doing something like that, and you have no issue because again you're rolling in it, right? So you have no issue in keeping your money tied up for this long. But like for the average bettor who may not have the disposable that you have. Is this really a realistic thing for them to do?
No, but yes. And let me explain why.
Okay.
No and yes. So, I don't want to tie up my betting bankroll. Yet you've got all these people, they got money in a bond fund earning 4% for you have like tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonds. I mean, if you can't earn more than that betting on some selective, season wins futures and some week one NFL, you're doing something drastically wrong. So, given you got money invested in the stock market, terrible fiduciary advice, maybe pull it all out, put it into sports.
He is not a licensed fiduciary advisor, so please take it with in its proper context. The other thing that you've said, and this relates to the NFL Week 1, but you've said this. I remember you saying this specifically about baseball season wins. I remember you used to say this to me, which is everybody should bet like $10 on every single season win total in baseball just to have as a sort of reference point. You say do the same thing here?
Yes, with football, and here's why. Like with baseball, if you bet $10 on every single season win number, the Baltimore Orioles were 88 to start the season. It's just like if you have that little ticket, even $5, $10, it will anchor you to what the pre-flop expectations are. And all the time, I'll say things like in the middle of the season, I'll be like, oh, the Dodgers were supposed to win 103.5 games this year, and people are like, no, they weren't. And it's like people forget, what that pre-flop number was.
Right, but beyond just having that little, fun debate with people, do you use it as a sort of thing where it's like, okay, let's use the Rockies, or let's use the Orioles, right? Because the Orioles are the best example of this, right? So the Orioles were expected to be a decent baseball club. They stink. This just did, right? So with the reference point of their pre-flop season win total, not only are you making adjusted season win total bets based on their performance, but by having the anchor of that season win total pre-flop, are you also then able to look at their individual games and say to yourself, their individual games are still being priced more towards that pre-flop than they are their current level of play?
Exactly right. And this is my baseball season win. These are up at Caesars, so kudos to them. They keep updating them. And at FanDuel, I know they're and DraftKings has them. I'm playing the Orioles under 73.5. The Orioles are already 12 games below 500. All right. They are minus 74 in run differential. They are a horrendous team, but yet that anchor, which should have been cut months ago, is still hanging over this is a good Oriole team. And so if they play the rest of the year at 5 games below 500, then we'll win our bet.
Yeah.
How the heck are they going to play 5 games below 500? Every single opponent's like, here's a win, we're playing the Orioles.
I think it's really good advice. And you did bet them again under?
Yes.
At what number?
Under 73.5
Under 73.5. Stevie just fading the O's. It's gone well so far. More with Fezzik on the other side. Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Steve Fezzik joins us here for Fezzik Fridays. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Ian McDonald. Fewer than half the horses this race. I guess he means from the Derby. So Mike should really be able to pick all 9 in order if he's any kind of handicapper. So that's right. He just hit the superfecta in the Derby. But if he doesn't pick 1 through 9 perfectly, what kind of handicapper?
He should be able to get the Nazgul 9. Yes.
Michael Salvino says Italian cuisine for his restaurants. I would say, depending on your price point, Carbone versus that place at Paris isn't there anymore. Mortaranos, what was the name of that place? I used to love that place.
I just know Mon Amiga be pretty good.
You like Mon Amiga be?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Chris Heath. Biggest season win total I made last year was UCLA under 4.5 plus 120. 5 was available at Caesars at minus 175, but only 500 over the counter. Circa was taking up to 10 dimes. I laid 3, moved the line to plus 115, felt like a sharp. It was a fun ride and lost on the final half versus Fresno. Steve Fezzik, so in case you missed the previous segment, we're just talking about a couple things. One, that he bet 4 different week 1 lines, and you wanted to sort of drive it home again, that you are open to betting the other side on these and creating a middle for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not anchored to these bets I'm making in terms of the teams. It's all about the price. I wouldn't I think it's certainly there's a universe. I'm going to get the Chargers plus 3 against the Chiefs. Absolutely, I'll play some Chargers. You look at that Dallas-Philly standalone game again Thursday. What happens on standalone games? You get bargains playing the underdog. Philly killed Dallas last year, so I laid 6.5 with Philly. Wouldn't surprise me if I don't get like a Dallas plus 7.5 for the game. Maybe a Dallas first half plus 4, plus 110. Some crazy number. So, and that way, I'm going to be given an offer I can't refuse. All right, write a post on some of these games where I have to bet it. The number's just too good. I'm like, whew, I can fall back. I didn't get my teeth kicked in because I can fall back to the bets I made back in May on the favorite.
And the other thing I wanted to drive home from the previous segment was this exercise of betting $10 on every season win total. Also, we talked about it from a betting perspective, but also from you have mentioned this to me before, which resonated, which is from a sports betting content provider standpoint, right? You would suggest that to every host just to have that as a reference point.
Yes, because obviously you can just print what the numbers are right before the games start week one, but just having that ticket in hand is just a tremendous reminder, and you won't even have to look at the sheet. You'll know what the number was.
All right, let's talk broader. Let's talk NFL season wins basic strategy. You have a sort of macro strategy on this.
Yeah, play unders, all right? And here's why. Because people are fueled with optimism. Everyone's happy after the draft. Everyone's happy with their free agent acquisitions. People are optimists. Heck, people from Chicago bet on their Bears each and every year. So what happens is a drift towards overs in season wins. So if you look at all the NFL teams, all 32, average them, they should average to be 8.5. I'd make the case they really should average to be 8.4 because there can be ties in any one year, 1 or 2 ties. But the actual average is typically 8.6. Now, that sounds trivial, 8.6 versus 8.4. I assure you it is not. So it turns out if you did nothing but just shop every under, all 32 teams, and played every team under, you actually are a favorite to make money because of that.
We've said this before, but I used to, when I wrote my baseball manifestos, I used to make the same point about the baseball season win total pool, that environment. 30 teams, 162 games, you should have a total win environment of 2,430 wins. But it was always shaded to the over, right? It was always, the pool itself had like 2,460 or 2,455, depending on what book. And while that, like you said, while that seems trivial, and even Roxy once said to me, goes, I think you may make too much of that. I'm like, I'm trying to put it in the proper context. It's not the end all be all. But the way I would phrase it is, if your instinct is to have a spade of overs, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly right. And how much is that worth? An 8.5 versus an 8.6? That's worth approximately 10 cents. How much VIG are you paying? 10 cents. So, boom, you're basically negating the VIG. If there's a tie, you have things in your favor. Hey, the NFC only plays 8 home games. All right, the AFC plays 9 home games. Most people, when they do strength of schedules, they don't factor in that extra home game. So where I'm going is that I would try to mine unders in the NFC on teams. Unfortunately, be careful with the Vikings because the Vikings have 2 road games in Europe this year. So the Vikings actually have more true home games than road games, so they wouldn't apply.
Okay. And then we should give Drew Dinsick a shout out because he was the first person to come on here and really dive deep. See what I did there? Because that's the name of his podcast, The Deep Dive, on NFL alternate season win totals.
How good is the Dinsick life? I mean, I'm getting a free old-fashioned in Vegas, and I'm in hog heaven, and he's in Aspen. He's at Churchill Downs. He's at Whistler. He's like, the man has the lifestyle. I'm sure he'll be in Hawaii next week.
He really does have the greatest life.
He does. And the one man in the industry that clearly has the better hair than I. So there you go, Drew. Alternative total. So you give up a game, but you get these teams like plus 225. You essentially sell a game. And I was a little skeptical at first, and I ran all the math, and it turns out Mr. Dinsick is spot on, and here's why. These books use the binomial distribution when they price the distribution of these teams, but the binomial distribution is flawed. It doesn't take into consideration enough of these black swan unusual occurrences because what can happen?
Injuries.
Your quarterback can get hurt.
Yep.
Your team can just be much better than we thought. Look at the Vikings last year. Their season win number was 7, while the Vikings, were much, much better, than we thought we should be. And so because of that, when you are looking to play NFL season wins, look to take the bad number plus 220 or more and give up a game.
Yeah, Drew's very sort of, cut to the chase way of saying that was, without the binomial distribution part, was the notion that the alternate season win totals are priced correctly is a complete fallacy. I'll paraphrase for him. Okay, so let's say we live in a bizarro world and I said, and you could only do one of these two things. Let's say you could bet NFL season win totals or college football season win totals, but not both. Which is the one you should be betting generally?
College football, not even close. And here's the reason. There's some people have been massively successful with the NFL season win market. Teddy covers, my friend Teddy.
Yeah.
I think he's like historically like at 68%. But we have this conversation every year. I'm like, Teddy, there's no way you're going to be able to hit anything close to this going forward. And he goes, I don't know, Steve. I'm 11-3 my last 3 years. So, but
Good for Teddy.
But you look at Dr. Bob Sports, all right?
Yes.
And his season wins in college football are the most incredible money-making cash cow thing you'll ever see. 11-2s, 9-3s, 8-2s, year after year after year. Asterisk. Jacksonville State, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, that was
overtime
tough.
game, which I've only heard about from the good doctor. How many times have you heard about that one?
Just a couple.
I feel like I know those teams better than any other team. Long story short, La Tech gave up a Hail Mary to Jacksonville State on the last play of the game. And so Jacksonville State went over by half a game and La Tech pushed. So it cost him like 18 units. No, not that much.
When Bob releases his college football season win totals at the beginning of the season in August, we literally line up, virtually to just bet these as he's releasing them. Like it's an event every year.
And think about it. It's August.
Right.
You've got 3 months to beat him to the punch if you just do the work that he's doing.
But explain why college football is your choice here. Why?
Because the markets are just wrong. Okay. The NFL, a sharp 7th grader that does the homework, can kind of land on, okay, this is about how many games, like how hard is it to price Baltimore and Buffalo and Kansas City? I think, or Philly, I'm going to make their season win number 11.5, and you're probably going to be very close to it. Whereas in college football, with the portal and all the movement and the changes of coaches, I mean, there can be teams that will go from 9 wins to 3 wins the very next year.
By the way, we're in a tiebreaker in set 2. So what does that mean in the Musetti match where Alcaraz won the first set 6-3? That means we are a push at right now because somebody's going to win the tiebreaker. So that'll be exactly 22 games. If Musetti wins, we will win the bet. So it's a free roll right now for us on Musetti. Come on, Lorenzo, get it done.
Anyone throw their rackets yet?
No, not in that match.
Just curious.
Why? What are you referring to, Steve? Do you think I would ever throw a racket in one of our matches? That's never happened. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just talking about in general, these pros.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Just curious. All right, so that's an interesting thing. And so again, the week one betting, the week one stuff, you haven't bet anything deeper into the season with lines, just the week one ones?
I made a couple select ones, but they were aberrations. But part of the reason is I know I got plenty of time. Other people are going to pop the week ones, so I got to get to it before the other folks. But most people will sit back, like if there's a line off on week 5, I can go ahead and have a couple buffets, whatever, and pick it up in a week from now.
I asked Bill yesterday how many people does he think actually bet these first week one lines, thousands, hundreds, or tens, and he said tens. I'm with him. He's right. You're one of the tens, Stevie. Well done. More with Fezzik on the other side. We'll recap all our bets courtesy of G-Bank. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Let's recap the best bets, and we'll get to Stevie here. G-Bank, official bank of VSiN, courtesy of them, that we have all of our best bets on a daily basis. And we appreciate that. Every show, every host, every guest, all the bets are recapped at the end of every show. I still have my Nuggets series price alive. Hit the Indiana Pacers adjusted series price in that series after game 1 at plus 191. That cashed. I've got the Nuggets plus 267 riding into game 7 in OKC on Sunday. That is my one remainer. Kelly, though he has Thunder futures, he's taking the Nuggets plus the points. He's got an 8.5. Nuggets plus 8.5. He's going to try to hit both. He's going to try to hit the Thunder win and the Nuggets plus the points. That is Sunday's game 7 in OKC. Stevie Fezzik, Orioles under 73.5 wins. He keeps pounding the under on the Baltimore Orioles. The Birds, bad season so far anyway. Twins turned it around early. Jason Weingarten, not a Dodgers fan. He's on the Dodgers today, minus 281 against the Athletics. And he's on the Giants, minus 190. Dodgers, by the way, not against the Athletics. Pardon me on that. The Giants, Dodgers and Giants. So he's taking the Dodgers rival to take us off the scent, that is, that he's not a Dodgers fan, even though he claims that. Anyway, Giants with Logan Webb on the hill, they're taking on the Athletics. And the Dodgers are taking on the Angels. Remember, it's a very Subway Series, Chicago versus Chicago. It's like, regional rival weekend in Major League Baseball. Nick Whalen from Prop Points. Jaylen Brown over 13.5 rebounds and assists in tonight's Celtics-Knicks game. He's also on Miles McBride over 1.5 three-pointers made at plus 165. And Mikal Bridges over 14.5 points as the Knicks try to close out the Celtics Game 6 at MSG tonight. What a scene that ought to be. And then Mike Somich, Samo bombing with some hockey. Stars minus the goal in the half, plus 177 in Game 6 against the Winnipeg Jets. And he is on the Panthers. Sorry, Toronto. He's on the Panthers, minus a goal and a half to close out the Leafs. Oh, boy. And then here are his Preakness best bets of the 150th Preakness. You going to be betting the Preakness, Stevie? No?
No. Should have bet the Derby.
You should have. Everything you slandered the horse racing handicappers, and you should have listened to Somich because he killed it. So he is on. So basically, what Somich is doing here, he's on the number 2 horse, journalism in the Superfecta, and then he has put that with the 4, 6, and 8 horses that in both second, third, and fourth position. So that is the story. Journalism wins this. If journalism doesn't, then we lose that $5 Superfecta. But then he's got the 4, 6, and 8 horses there. That's Heart of Honor, River Thames, and Clever Again. He has a $25 Exacta. That, again, is journalism with River Thames. And then he's got the $10 Trifecta, journalism with River Thames, and once again with Heart of Honor and with Clever Again. G-Bank Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, of course, every day, the official bank of VSiN. And once again, with G-Bank, there's always a promotion to be had, including this one, where most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. But G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on gaming transactions right there. Also, with G-Bank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. Apply now at VSiN.com/Gbank. That's VSiN.com/Gbank. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. From PAW, Yep914, he says, Dr. Bob, 3-4-1 last 2 years on the show with season win totals. And this, you see right here, is the problem, right? Because people are short-term sighted. And so he thinks that's a burn on Dr. Bob, when Dr. Bob's been crushing it for probably before he was born, right? And so it's like, that's the problem with most sports bettors. They're never going to get over themselves when that's their agenda. It's like, oh, yeah, what a burn on Dr. Bob, as he amasses a fortune.
Yeah, and as someone who sells picks at pregame, I'll say I'm 10-2, and I'll literally say that, of course, doesn't matter. I'm up 18 units on the season, but it does matter because literally everybody wants to buy. What Jim Feist used to do. I love Jim Feist. He's like, I got the hot hand.
Yeah.
Follow the hot hand.
And Bob will actually say, if he's hit 68%, he'll be like, I am unlikely to hit at 68% moving forward, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, but I do feel if someone's at 68% run versus a 50% run, they're ever so slightly likely to continue to the run. They're obviously seeing the ball well.
To do well, not necessarily 68%.
Yes.
Kevin Ryan Gil Fez actually commented on his hair. I believe he tells his barber, give me a Bob's Big Boy with extra black dye. What do you say about that? Huh.
All natural, baby.
All natural, sure. Sure it is. Okay, I mentioned that you, on your, Somich told us that on your podcast, you were comparing Cooper Flagg to Tyler Hansborough. What is wrong with you?
Nah, I'm not an NBA evaluator.
No, you're not. Here's the VSiN Killer Sports Challenge. By the way, look, Stevie Fezzik, co-leader with Zach Cohen, at 19-11. Once again, only 8 games left. 5 in the conference finals, 3 in the actual NBA finals. So you and Zach tied atop. This is your strength. This is your Superman ability, right? This is your superpower, Steve, where you know how to play contests, you know how to get the best of it, you know game theory, but then when you start getting into talent evaluation, you don't know a damn thing about the NBA, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay,
but
stop it.
When we go to contests, it's funny because there was a podcast. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. This dummy Joey Knish comes out and he's like, "Oh, these contests are all complete, not utter luck." And it's like, well, you realize I won 6 of these. I placed second in the Westgate Super Contest out of 156 people. So to have a 0-time, it's like having a 0-time bracelet winner at poker say, hey, that guy with 6 bracelets, it's all luck. And he's right. any one tournament is a whole lot of luck, but aggregate them all together.
Yeah.
Someone who's good at contests, there's certain basic strategies. And we talk about this offline, and we see egregious mistakes made by people.
We do see egregious mistakes. Do you think you're going to win this one? Smarty Pants? Think you're going to win this?
I think I'm an underdog to win at this point.
I think you are too.
Yeah. But do I have, would I bet myself, pick him against Cohen? I got a bad tiebreaker. So now Zach might be favored.
That's right. We have a tiebreaker, which is the tiebreaker was pick the NBA
which we're not going
champion.
to disclose what my tiebreaker is, though, because that would give my opponents an edge.
Why would it? It's already in the. Why? Oh, yeah, maybe it would.
Yeah,
Okay,
so we can't disclose
We're not going to
that.
disclose that.
Can't do that.
We have a tiebreaker. The tiebreaker is pick who before the contest started. Who do you think wins the NBA championship?
Right.
Okay. By the way, Wet Willie Cologne on the Twitter feed has taken a screenshot of Samich's Preakness plays, so anybody who wants to refer to them after the fact can do that.
Question: how much did Samich lose by giving out the superfecta?
Oh, right, because it's a pari-mutuel.
Because it's pari-mutuel.
Yeah.
And would he have paid 1,800 to 1 instead of 1,600? Now, I would argue like something with a pool size as big as the Kentucky Derby. It's probably somewhat trivial, but you know it's not trivial. Now in the Preakness and in the Belmont. Now that he hit it, I would argue, I hate to say this, I don't think he can play it anymore because now the tax like in that pool is going to be like enormous because everyone's going to bet his stuff now.
It is that sports bettor versus horse racing bettor thing. I remember when Wishnev and I were watching the Derby at the South Point. He probably won't even remember this, but he was asking me, I can't remember which Derby it was, but he was like, oh, how much do we win if this horse hits? And I'm like, well, it's pari-mutuel. We don't know yet. He goes, oh, I forgot about that stuff. He didn't say stuff, but you know. Okay, last thing. In front of you, we have not mentioned this, in front of you are two boxes. We have a listener to the show, Jay Salter, who I got into a little Twitter. I don't know if it was a debate or we weren't understanding each other. It's tough in a character limit to have a debate about the NBA draft and the NBA draft lottery. And I was saying how the coin flip between the Bulls and the Mavericks, and that is what got the Mavericks the shot at Cooper Flagg now because they end up with the number one pick as the combinations happen to happen. Anyway, we got into it back and forth. And in the end, and this is a lesson for you, Steve Fezzik, who again, in real life, you're a perfectly fine gentleman. On Twitter, you're the worst human being alive. And so here I am with the gentleman. We got into a little debate on Twitter. And you know how ours ended? He brought us brownies. He brought us brownies. He not only brought us brownies, he actually packaged two little ones for you. Brownies. Steve, have you ever had a Twitter exchange where someone brought you brownies in the end? Maybe you should be a little more of a gentleman. Maybe you should be a little nicer.
Thank you very much, Jade. I appreciate that, but I am currently on a fitness regime.
Yeah, no, I am
where
too.
I have to stay 20 pounds lighter than Gil, or he'll beat me at tennis. So I am going to donate my brownies to the room attendants at Circa.
All right, once again,
thank you,
room attendants, which is Stevie's very formal word for the maid service, right?
Yeah, it's the industry word
room
for
attendants.
For
room attendants.
maids. Yes.
Anyway, thank you to Jay Salter because
Jay.
he made these. Not only these, he made 4 different kinds. Apparently, these guys are telling me that he made like different kinds of brownies.
Can we send them to Todd? No.
No, I can't do that.
Can we send them to Will Hill? No.
Anyway, I don't think you learned anything from this. I don't think you're deflecting.
Thank you, Jay. That was very kind of you.
No, it's not about thanking Jay. It's just maybe you should be more, I don't know, civil on Twitter.
Oh, no doubt. Wait, I knew that.
You knew that already.
I know that.
But you can't do it in practice, is what you're saying.
Trying.
Anyway, thank you, Jay. Appreciate it very much. We'll enjoy these after the show.